Light heavyweight bout. Alex Pereira's first UFC fight at light heavyweight comes in at -115. Jan Blachowicz -115. Straight pick 'em here. Over under 2.5 rounds, plus 125 for the over, -155 for the under. 4-1 for Alex Pereira. His only loss in the UFC is to Israel Adesanya. Jan Blachowicz last time out had the draw to Magomed Ankalaev. 40 years old for him, 36 years old for Alex Pereira. This is, it's kind of a clash of styles because, Pereira is the kickboxer of kickboxers. He is that guy when it comes to kickboxing. Jan Blachowicz, though, people are going into this one saying like he's just going to smother Pereira. That's not really what he's been doing lately. That's not really his go-to. Can he do it? Absolutely. That's how he beat Israel Adesanya, but that's not really where he's been winning fights. In fact, that's where he's been losing fights, is getting out-grappled. Like you look at the Ankalaev fight, he was winning the fight on the feet. Ankalaev had to take him down to secure the draw. Was it actual draw? I don't know. I think Ankalaev still won, but either way, it is a draw. You look at the Rakic fight. He wins the first round on the feet, loses the second round on the ground to Rakic, and then third round, Rakic blows out his knee. Glover Teixeira, where does he beat him? Submits him on the ground. Israel Adesanya is really the outlier. Like that's where he won the fight, was on the ground. Look at all of his other fights. He's not really taking guys down. So to expect him to go in here and just take down Alex Pereira, I think is a bigger ask than people are really making it out to be, because Pereira trains with Glover. Glover's obviously great at takedowns and has a great ground game. So I would expect he's going to be ready to defend some takedowns in this one. And if Jan Blachowicz just wants to or thinks he can stand with Alex Pereira, I don't think it's going to go that well for him. What are you thinking?
I think people are going to be surprised at how strong Alex Pereira is at 205. I mean, 185, him making that weight was almost a miracle. If you looked, he was like walking around at 220 something before his last fight with Izzy. And then, over the course of a couple of months, cut down, but only cutting to 205, I think is going to be good for him. Like, yeah, he got knocked out by Izzy, but after a, 30, 40-pound weight cut. So it's like, that have anything to do with his chin? How's his chin going to look at 205? There's some questions there. But with Jan Blachowicz against Magomed Ankalaev, the leg kicks stuck out to me. I mean, he dropped him with one, really had him, that leg pretty beat up towards the end of the fight. And Alex Pereira does have those long legs that just kind of sit out there with his stance and stuff. If Jan connects on some of them, I think he could do some damage. But, Alex is the type of guy, if you start honing in on that leg, he's such a good kickboxer that he's going to counter you at some point. And how many counters like that can you take if you're Jan? I mean, you're 40 years old. You've been in some wars recently. I don't want to say he gave up against Glover, but he definitely faded pretty, into that second round. I thought he was fading until Glover got the sub. So, I don't see him going out and just being able to wrestle Alex with ease. I think that's the one part of Alex's game he's probably been working on more than anything. Like, you got the kickboxing secured. You're training with Glover, who has the blueprint to beat Jan. I'm not saying Alex goes out there and tries to sneak a submission or anything, but what his game plan is going to be. You know what that style is. Like, your training partner and teammate has fought and beat him. So I think that's a little bit of an advantage. Super interesting fight, though. Like, I've been thinking about this since it got announced. Jan, there's a chance Jan goes out here and he looks like he's 40 years old. He's a step slower. Maybe he can't reach with the legs. Alex is super long and pretty rangy. And on the other hand, maybe he does go out there and beat the leg up in the first round and then just get some takedowns and, does steal some rounds that way. But if it plays out on the feet, I see Alex and his length and his experience and kickboxing skill posing a pretty big threat to Jan. Like, how easy is it going to be for him to get in on a takedown when Alex is just, using his kicks, using his knees and everything up the middle to kind of keep him at bay and keep him off of him. So as far as a pick, this is tough, dude. This is super tough. This is a definition of a coin flip just because there's so many unanswered questions. But I'm going to take the risk and say that Jan Blachowicz doesn't look like he's 40 years old yet, and he does land some takedowns and just wears him down and finds the win. That's what I'm going to go with. And I've flipped back and forth on this so many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's a straight pick 'em. So, I mean, it is a very good matchup, just like the main event. But physical concerns for me, for Jan, would obviously be the age. But then also a positive for him is like the guy is like made out of steel. Like the way he kicks people, it's like it doesn't even affect him. And the way he made Magomed Ankalaev like crumble with those leg kicks was like, damn. But then you look at Pereira. Pereira's pretty good at checking leg kicks. Like he is a kickboxer, and he's a orthodox fighter. So if Jan wants to beat up the leg, it's going to have to do it from the outside. Ankalaev was a southpaw, so he's kicking the inside of the leg, and it's just not. It's a little bit harder to check. Like you got to move, you got to turn your knee in. If he's from the orthodox, Pereira, you watch the fight with Izzy. Like he was checking leg kicks pretty well. Even made him stumble right in the 5th round of the first fight, and that's what kind of led to him getting the momentum to get the knockout. And then you look at the second fight, Pereira in 2 rounds, Pereira landed 26 leg kicks. Like he will also chip the legs, but I don't know if that's going to work with Jan Blachowicz because it seems like he's just made out of steel. So I don't know. We'll see. I do think if it's on the feet, he can outpoint Jan, could knock him out. But he also has like really good volume on the feet. I think if it is just a kickboxing battle, he could stay safe and just outpoint him. He lands 5.23 compared to Jan lands 3.41. I just think he's going to be a little bit more active on the feet. So I'm going to go with Pereira. I'm going to bet that Jan can't impose the wrestling like people are expecting him to. And even if he does, like let's say he holds him up against the cage, just tries to wear on him a little bit. The way Judge has been judging fights, if it goes to a decision, probably going to be the guy that's landing more damage. So I'm going to go with Pereira. Great fight, though. Great fight.
Yeah, and I will add that Pereira, too, should have like a pretty big speed advantage, too, on the feet. And the way he hides some of his kicks and strikes, I think, will be surprising to Jan at times. I don't know if Jan will be able to pick up on that left high kick. And like I said, man, he's moving up, so he's going to be the faster fighter. Like you said, Jan's being a little bit older. It just makes it so interesting. I can't wait for this fight.
One last thing I forgot. The concern physically with Pereira is that he got knocked out like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But if Jan's going to stand and strike with him, I would just favor Pereira. So can Jan knock him out? Sure. But that usually means that he's going to be standing and striking with him. If that is the case, I'm going to take Pereira. So that's just one last little nugget there.